Oh, come on, I have to rush for the grand opening of the storage palace. Welcome back, everybody. And in today's episode, I am going to make the ultimate storage system in Minecraft. This is going to be an epic storage system, and for sure, I know that there are a lot of debates about which storage system is the best. Refined storage or applied energistic, or maybe mechanisms QIO system? I don't know, I've never tried that. But in this episode, I will show you how to properly do the refined storage system, because I think that is the best one. I mean, it's just simple. It's really simple. It doesn't have to have any presses, and I kind of like it. And in today's episode, I am also going to make a tea factory. Yes, you heard it right. Although I have a lot of baked potatoes and I have a baked potato system, I really love teas, and in real life, I cannot stop drinking tea. So I thought that maybe I'm going to save this thing into Minecraft, and today I'm going to make a tea factory and I'm going to drink tea all day long. And also tea gives you speed boost, if I'm correct. So let's get into it. So here is the storage palace. As you can see, it's a pretty big building. It's really detailed and it has a big glass dome. I think it looks pretty nice. I was wondering if it fits into this vibe, and I think it is not that bad. I also use my custom trees, which I've just built on my creative map, and I think in general it looks good. If there will be more houses around here, then it will blend in just a bit more. And as you can see, I've also marked out the main directions like north, south, west, and east. And as you can see on the top right corner, it is really the north side, the west side, the south side, and the east side. So what I have here, I'm planning to do my storage system with these chests. I know it's a lot of chests. It's 2 times 64 chests, and I am going to use these as my current storage, which means that it is 2 times 64 chests, which is 128 chests and 128 times 45 spaces for items. So I have collected everything that I will need to set this system up. I will need a blue controller from refined storage. I will need a blue crafting grid. I will need a lot of cables, and I will use the external storages so I can use these chests as our storage spaces. I'm also going to use a disk drive because I have some storage disks as well. And here is my flux point, which is going to supply the ME system with power. So let's try this thing out. Alright, I've placed the external storage blocks, and now I am going to connect them with the cables. And as of now, all the components are connected, and now it's time to set up our system. I think it will work now. We have to check it for sure. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to place down the controller, and then I'm going to put the grid on top, the crafting grid. And now I'm going to place down this flux point, which will then probably supply it with energy. Let's see. Yes, it does. And as you can see on the Wila, it is already supplied with power. And yes, everything is here. Let's see if I place something here, will it appear in the system? Yes, it does. And now we can tell that this is going to work. All right, let's just remove it. I'm also going to place down this disk drive just so we will have more spaces. I have a 16K, a 4K, another 4K, and the 1K storage disk. Alright, I've just drove out this cable from here. I'm placing this on top, and I am placing this on the top of the controller. Place it on the back side, and now it works. And I think between 2 episodes, I'm going to move here. I'm going to move everything here so that you will not be bothered with me just moving everything to this crafting grid. So now we can get into the tea factory, for which I have the tea leaf seeds and the orange saplings, because I will need orange to make Earl Grey tea. Here's the Earl Grey tea. I will need orange and tea leaf and the pot. So just a quick update, I've moved everything to this system, so it looks like we are settled for now. And the other storage room is a bit empty, but I've brought everything here, so we have a pretty big space, and so we have to fill up with something. And to make the tea factory, I've collected everything that I will need just to set up the factory itself. I'm not going to do the building just yet. Maybe I will do a short section about how I built up the factory itself, just like the one before with the power plant. But the most important thing is to set up the contraption which will be not that hard. It's just basic create machinery. So I'm going to make the mechanical harvester and some deployers with the orange trees. So let's move on to the industrial area. Oh, and talking about the industrial area, I have filled up this whole space with dirt. It was a few hours, and this side is not even done, so it's ugly now, but this place looks a bit more smooth now, and it will be a perfect industrial area for us. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to do the tea field first because that's the main thing. So my plan is to make the tea field first, then make the orange picker, and then we can just merge them together in a crafting machine, so it will be done. Alright, so to make the field, I'm going to do a 3x3 sphere for that, like so. And then I'm going to plant the tea. Alright, now I will make the harvester, and I will connect this whole thing to a windmill bearing. I've set it up the windmill itself, and now I'm going to put down an inventory so it can collect the tea leaves straight into this chest. And the last thing is to put down the portable storage interface. Now we can glue this whole thing together, even the harvesters and the windmills as well. And if I am correct now, it is going to move just like it should be. Alright, I will set up the receiver part, and the tea harvester section is done. Let's make the orange picker. So I'm just going to plant an orange tree. No way, this is actually the worst orange tree that we could possibly have. So I will have to replant it. Yep, it's actually better. Now I just have to place down the deployers, which will then essentially pick the oranges. Alright, like so. I'm going to place down the chain drive so it will connect all the deployers. And I'm going to place an absorption hopper in the middle of the tree, so whenever these oranges will be picked, then the absorption hopper will just suck them into itself. Because the absorption hopper, if I click on show area, it will show you that in this area, the absorption hopper is actually sucking in items and experience just like a hopper, but it has an area effect. And now I am going to set up the mechanical crafter, which will look like this. I will place a cogwheel here. I will place a cogwheel here. I will do a shaft here, another here. I will connect it with a belt. And I will need 2 breast funnels, one here, and I will filter out this pot because this pot should go in here. I will have to do a double chest because this way I can place the funnel on the back of it. And I'm going to filter this pot again. I'm going to place 2 additional cogwheels here, so the crafting system will be connected with the deployers. And now I just have to play around with the item transfers, which I am using mechanism basic logistical transporters for. And it's going to be pretty easy. I am just connecting this whole thing to the crafter. I am setting it to push and setting this to pull. And I am doing the same thing with the orange pickers. I will set this to push. I will set this to nothing. I will set this to pull. And I will set the absorption hopper to deploy items on the south side. So as you can see on the top right corner, there is the map which shows you the main directions. So north, west, east, south. And as you can see on the map, I am facing west, which means that on the left, I have south. So since I want this whole thing to deploy on the left side, I'm going to set it to south item, and now it is working. As you can see, this small thing just appeared. It means that it is dropping items there. And the last thing that I would like to do is just bring this whole thing to life and set up the generator. I'm going to use a windmill. I'm going to put down a rotational speed controller. I'm going to put in the large cogwheel, put down a gearbox, place the windmill bearing. Okay, I am done with the windmill for sure. I will extend it just a little bit later, but for now I am using this much windmill sails, and let's see. Okay, it does work. I just have to set the speed to maybe a little bit higher. It's too much. Alright, 75 is the best. I will place the pot here. Oh, and just another thing, I have to manually start this tea factory, and it should deploy it here. Yep, 3 tea leaves. And it is already in the crafter. Alright, so for just experimental purposes, I'm going to speed up the oranges growth so we can see if the crafter works. I will turn off my magnets, and yep, the absorption hopper picks it up. And the pot came back here, and the tea is done. So the pot comes back because I am setting this whole thing so it will transfer the pot back. And we have Earl Grey tea. So basically I am done with my tea factory. It looks a bit weird because these are fields and plants and trees, but I think it's amazing that we can automate everything and anything. So I'm going to make a really cool looking industrial building, a factory building for it. And finally my industrial area will grow just a little bit because this lonely building looks pretty good, but I have to do something because it looks so empty. Alright, so this is how the tea factory's exterior ended up. I tried to make it natural. I tried to add a lot of flowers and trees and bushes. I've also added a cool billboard. And for sure, just to cover up the whole thing, I made these big tea tanks. And I've started to make the roads and the sidewalks as well. And the reason that it is this wide is because I want a tram system to go through this whole industrial area. And although I wanted to have a really good replay or recording of this tea factory getting built, unfortunately I find myself in a really sticky situation because the recording would look like this. I don't know why the replay mode switched up the blocks, but it looks really ugly, and I've just noticed it after the whole thing was built. And these were my plans for today. So basically you can consider it as an exclusive episode just for making tea. So I wish you all an amazing day and an amazing week. Take care and see you in the next one.